Hi, Beesh. Oh, I miss you. I'm sure we'll talk soon. To anyone else who's not my one friend watching this, welcome. Welcome. My name is Sarah, and I'm very tired. I worked a shift, and the world's falling apart, and all I ate for lunch today were French fries. So I'm a little bit tired, but that's okay. We persevere. I have books I need to return to the library, so we're gonna get this going. Okay, so first I want to talk about A Separate Peace, which I'm trying to read more classics, and this was one my dad recommended, and he was like, this used to be a standard that people read in high school, and now we don't really do that anymore, but like it's definitely worth reading. And I do agree that it is worth reading. It's very it is, I think it would have been really good in high school because it does relate to a lot of the things that you feel when you're a kid, like the competitiveness with your friends that kind of doesn't poison your friendships, but like does add a layer that I think when you get older you realize shouldn't exist, and you're the one putting that on it, is real. I at least dealt with it. Not the level. This fucking guy. What's it? Gene? Gene needs to calm the hell down. And realize that Phineas is his, like, genuinely is his friend and likes him, and needs to chill the fuck out. But yeah, it did remind me, the first half reminded me a lot of A Talented Mr. Ripley. The Talented? A Talented? Talented? Unclear. I don't fucking know. A Talented Mr. Ripley, in the way of like, in that, our main guy, Ripley, is like, I know that they have real names, and it's like Dickie Greenleaf, I think is his name, and then his girlfriend. But in my head, and I read the book and then watched the movie, but in my head, they'll always be Matt Damon, Jude Law, and Gwyneth Paltrow. So, like, I want to be like, yeah, so, like, Matt Damon. And I will, because I get to do what I want. So, in that book, Ripley, who's played by Matt Damon, is, like, obsessed with Dickie Greenleaf, I think is his last name. I know his name's Dickie, who's played by Jude Law. And is, like, just the level of, like, I want what you have, but also, like, do I want you or do I want what you have? And I like want to be around you, and you're so magnetic, and I'm so like, I'm in your orbit always, kind of really reminded. And also like, but I resent you for that. I'm upset about that, but I'm also kind of powerless to do anything about it, is a lot like this. And I do understand, because I saw that this was on the banned book list for some places, not for me. I don't fucking ban books. It sucks and I hate it. But I was like, why? And it was like homosexuality, and I was like, but I do get it. I think that the characters in the book are gay? Maybe, but only like if they are gay, they are unaware of it. But I do think that there is a level of feelings and intimacy that 100% can be with friendship, but like I understand why people read into it as being gay, or why gay men themselves see themselves in it. I totally get it. But yeah, I did really like it. After all that fucking shit, I did really like it. I thought it was good. There were moments where I was like, for me, the moments that like were the most impactful was not the dialogue or anything. It was just the narrator's internal dialogue that I thought was the most impactful for me. Like, spoiler for this very fucking old book. But Phineas falls out of a tree. There's more to say that, but Phineas falls out of a tree. He breaks his leg. He's never gonna, and he was like this huge athlete. He's never gonna be that again. And he's like in rehabilitation, like kind of. But he's coming back. He has a huge cast on his leg. And there's a moment where Gene, who's our main guy, our protagonist, and he's like watching Phineas walk in the ice, kind of like when it's cold outside and he's walking, and he like thinks about, he's like, Phineas always used to walk like it was like this effortless thing. He was just floating through life. And even though Phineas is never going to play sports again, the one thing they're like, he will be able to walk again. And Gene is like, he might be able to walk again, but he'll never be able to walk like Phineas again. And that just really stuck with me. And I was like, yeah, I like that, little moments like that. Or like there's a thing in where Gene says like, there are times in your life that really stick out more than others, and for me that time is the war. And I hear all the things that like are all in some ways like are always ongoing with me, and the war, blah 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 blah. And then later in the book he tells you learn that like for him the war was not World War II, it was the war between him and Phineas. And so then you're like, oh, so in your mind you're always living in this is your actual war, so you didn't mean the war, you meant this. And I just thought that was really, like, I was reading it and I was like, oh shit, like which is great. But yeah, I did like this book. I would recommend it. Super easy read in terms of classics. It's not like a current romantasy where you're like, I read it in a day. But in terms of classics, really easy read, really like not difficult to get into. And yeah, I did really like it. I thought the beginning was really good and the end was really good. The middle kind of got a little bit like, oh my God, we get it. But like, it was really great. I did really enjoy it. There's also a very funny moment where like the kind of weird kid down the hall goes off to war, he enlists, and then he sends Gene a telegram, and the telegram's like signed your best friend and says his name, which is very like, it did really crack me up. That our main guy's like, what? And he's like, yeah, I know that I'm your best friend, so like here we go. And it was like very funny. I really enjoyed that. Okay, the next book I read was Clytemnestra. Said that weird. I don't fucking care. Clytemnestra. I always fucking don't say the T. Clytemnestra. Yeah, I really liked this. I thought it was great. I will look up this author again. I thought it was so great. Costanza Cassidy. I'm so sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. And I know I did. I'm really sorry. I really liked this book. I thought it was really good. And I was really worried that it was gonna, honestly, I'm just fucking traumatized from that Lady Macbeth book that I read that just made Lady Macbeth like the most nothing. And I was like, I'm gonna be so bummed if they like make Clytemnestra like this nothing girl who just does whatever's like, she's gotta do blah, blah, blah. But like, no. And I like that, like, this is a story about revenge. This is a revenge story. And it should be. And I was so happy about it. And I also love that, like, there's multiple moments in this book where Clytemnestra's like, could I be happier if I let my hate go? Like, I'm nursing my hate like it's a little flower in my heart. And like, should I let it go? Not could I let it go. Should I let it go? And the answer is unequivocally yes. And she's like, yeah, but no. But how about no? How about no? I don't know what I'd be without my hate. And I don't know how to do without it. And I was like, yes. Yes. Fucking yes. That's what I want out of this book. And that's what it gave me. And I really enjoyed it a lot. I thought the beginning kind of, because it's in 3, it skips around. It doesn't skip around. It flashes forward. So it's from when she's a child, her childhood, like with her parents in Sparta, Helen, Castor. I never know how to say the other brother's name, like Polai. I'm not gonna get it right. But the other one, the 2 boys who go on the Argonon with Jason and all that jazz. And and that ends when she marries Agamemnon and goes to become the queen of where he lives, which I'm not even going to attempt to say because I'm going to say it wrong. And then it skips forward to right before the Trojan War when Agamemnon murders her daughter. When Agamemnon sacrifices her daughter to gain favorable wind, right? And then it flashes forward again to kind of like a little bit before when he comes back and she straight up murders his ass. Fuck, spoiler alert for Greek mythology, but fuck yes, she murders his ass. And it was great. It was great. And also, like, if you know what happens with her, because spoiler again for Greek mythology, she is murdered by her children. The Electra and Orestes kill her for murdering their father, and also like because she's let her lover, who was exiled by Agamemnon, is like he's fighting Agamemnon for the throne. He loses and goes into the wilderness to flee. Agamemnon goes to Troy, and then he comes back. He and Clytemnestra get together. He, in this book, falls in love with her as he falls in love with her. She falls in love with him like as much as she can. And then in mythology previously, it's kind of like the lover kills Agamemnon and blah blah blah. And in this one, she fucking kills Agamemnon and like hell yeah. But her children are very betrayed that she kind of let her lover, who's like this exiled prince, kill their father, and they feel very betrayed, which like I get it, but also not, because Agamemnon killed their sister and he should fucking die. But like but I get why they're mad. But they're in the wrong. So like and in this one you can see you can see like the seeds of that being planted. It ends, spoiler for this book. Oh god, this is a fucking spoiler ass video. I don't care. This book, it ends happily for Clytemnestra because it ends right after she's killed Agamemnon, and Electra is like, you think you're gonna get away with this? Orestes is in Sparta because they've arranged for him to marry Hermione, daughter of Helen and Menelaus, his cousin. It's chill at the time, but like he's gone there to be the king of Sparta. Clytemnestra is gonna rule in Mycenae. I don't know how to say where she lives, and so they're like, great, we'll be like that'll be a good bond. But like Electra's like, you're fooling yourself. Orestes is gonna come back and he's gonna take revenge on your lover and probably you because you killed our father, the king, and like you can't do that. And Clytemnestra's like, maybe she's right, but no, like it's gonna be fine. And that's when it ends, where like like it's not fine. Clytemnestra gets killed by her kids, but I like that it ended happily for her. That like this is gonna be so stupid. It really depends on when you end the story of if it ends happy or not. It all just depends. And so but I really liked it. I thought it was really good. There were a couple of things I didn't like. I've previously read other retellings of like Helen of Troy, or kind of the characters of the story, and I thought the character of Menelaus in this was just a little bit nothing. Like he's just shitty and mean. He's just Agamemnon, but not as physically strong, and I just found that a little bit boring, I guess. And previously in other ones I've read, he's like kind of the perpetual like nice guys finish last thing. Like he's like which is also like not the most groundbreaking, but like I don't know, I bought it a little bit more. Like in this one, Helen marries Menelaus because it famously she gets a lot of suitors. They all swear an oath that they will abide by her decision and they will protect her if any of the other suitors try to go against her and like take her for themselves. And so they like the reason it works is because it all hinges on Helen's decision. She gets to pick who she marries, and that's the only way that it works, because all these men are like, fucking why wouldn't she pick me? And so they all agree, and then she picks Menelaus. And then later, whenever she's kidnapped by Paris, all the suitors come together. They start the Trojan War because they're like, you fucking didn't abide by her decision, even though of course they did, because Helen goes because she wants to. Because Paris, in every retelling, Paris is many things, but number one, he's a babe. He's a babe. He's a fucking he's a Betty. And Helen goes for that, which is like fair. But in this one, she picks Menelaus, and she kind of does it out of spite. Like her father is manipulating her, and he's really rooting for Agamemnon and Menelaus. He's like, they're all in cahoots together. And Clytemnestra and Penelope, their cousin who marries Odysseus, seen in the Odyssey, she's the one who's like, I'll marry someone when I get done with my weaving. And then at night she undoes all that she's done. And then she's like, damn, I'm never getting any more done. Who could have guessed? She's great. But so she, like, Penelope and Clytemnestra are like, hey girl, you know who you should not pick is Menelaus, because he's pretty fucking creepy. And he's like a little bit angry and also not a good dude. Don't pick him. And she's like, don't tell me what to do, I'll do what I want. And then picks Menelaus. And then they're like, you dumb fuck, Helen, you dumb fuck, you just fucked yourself over. And like, yes, she did. But I kind of, previous ones I've read, like I said, are kind of, he's like Mr. Nice Guy. And she's like, well, this guy is not gonna hurt me. Like, he's not exciting, but he's like fine. And he's not gonna like, you know, choosing a husband back in the day, not now, now there's no risk, but choosing a husband back in the day is like a huge gamble. You don't know them very well. And if you pick someone who like is a controlling asshole, you're fucked. And so she's like, I'm picking Menelaus because he adores me and he's not gonna like beat me up or kill me or control me. We're gonna be fine. And so she picks Menelaus, and that I think for me is a lot more believable than her being like, no, I shouldn't pick Menelaus. He sucks. He sucks and he's a piece of shit, but like, I do what I want, don't tell me what to do. That didn't work as much for me. But the rest of the book I thought was super great. And also, like, that's not a big deal. I just bitched about it a lot, but it's really not that big of a deal. But I really liked this book. I thought it was great. And I thought that even the differences between Clytemnestra and Agamemnon's children, like, I think that everybody had a really, not everybody, I think some of them had a really purposeful and like unique personality. All the kids did, not all of them, but most of them. And like specifically Electra and Iphigenia felt like two very different sisters who were real sisters, and they felt like real people to me. I think Orestes could have maybe had some more of something. And also she has another kid who like I vaguely remember, who's like not, which is fine. Not everybody needs to be like, I don't need everything on everyone. But yeah, I did really like it. I thought it was great. I did really enjoy it. I will read more of this author. I really liked this. I thought it was really good. And so yeah. And then my last book I'm going to talk about, which is good, this video is long, is called Trust by Hernan Diaz. Hernan? I don't know. Yeah, so I'm about 100 pages in. And I really like it so far. It won the Booker Prize 2022. It's interesting. So it's, from what I know, this book, the first around 120 pages are a fictitious book that like everyone has read in this world. Everyone's read this book. And then after that, it switches to like another perspective or another book, but it's still in the same world. And so I'm really interested to see how that goes. I'm still in the first part where it's like everybody knows the story of these two very rich New York society people. Everyone knows how that works. And I'm like, who are they? Tell me everything. And I really like it. Currently, spoiler, because that's what I'm doing this video, our main, it's about a couple. He's like a Wall Street guy, and she's so much to describe. She's like a very brilliant woman who's kind of suffering from a disease her father also suffered with that feels a lot like schizophrenia. But I don't know, I'm not a doctor. But it's like mental disorder. So she has asked, and he has put her in this mental institution in Switzerland, I believe is where it is. She's like, bitch, put me here. I'm not okay. Put me in this institution. I won't go anywhere else. I'll go there, because that's where her dad went before the war. And so, but her husband is a little bit like pissed that he doesn't have all the control anymore. Not of her, but like just in general. He's like really, at this moment, he's not a bad guy. He's just like, he's just a little bit, he just wants what he wants. He wants what he wants, and what he wants is his wife fine and cured and okay and in his home, and he wants their relationship to be what it was, which was not like a romantic loving situation, but like it wasn't bad, is whatever. Okay. And so he's like getting ready to take her out of the institution and bring her back home, because he doesn't love that like the doctor's kind of doing what the doctor wants to do, and also that like his wife is getting close to other people in the institution, but like she's not getting close to him. And so he's like, yeah, fuck this. I'm going to take her out. I'm going to take her home. And then he like doesn't tell anybody because he knows it's going to be a whole thing. And then like the day before he's like going to tell her, he shows up and they're like, he's like, here to get my wife. And they're like, oh bitch, she gone. And that's when I had to stop reading. And so I'm really excited to read that. Yeah. So yeah, I'm reading that right now. My dad for Christmas every year buys all of us books, me and my other siblings and their partners, and this is the one he bought for my brother's girlfriend. And I was talking to him about books, and he was like, I really like the book I bought you, which I already read this year. It's the, oh my god, the Disappearing Library. Oh my god. And he was like, and I really like this book, Trust. And so yeah, I'm really excited. I like it so far, and I'm excited to see what happens next, because I truly have no idea. So that'll be really great. Can't wait. Thank you so much if you stayed till the end of this. And God, if you're in America, stay safe out there, because it's not getting brutal, but it's brutal out there, and it's getting rough, or it's getting rougher than it was. But here, we're just reading books. We're reading books, and we're gonna make it through, and we're in it together. Okay, thanks for watching and listening. I'm gonna link my Fable account, which is like Goodreads but cuter, and I like it more, so that's what I use. I'll link that in the description, and thanks so much. Bye.